You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, good morning, everybody. I have Kristina Beagley here with Beagley's Painting. And you do other things besides painting. We're going to talk about that. But how was your trip over here?
Oh, very long. Very long.
And you got caught by the infamous Crowley train, among other things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that train is a pestilence. I mean, it comes through and it goes slowly. Sometimes it stops and it just cuts this town in half.
I know. I was waiting there for a good minute. Too.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about, among other things, not just what they do, but also her adventures from Oregon to Texas, because it's interesting because I had Sarah Pierce, our friend from BNI, on.
She's my Oregon sister.
Yes, and you had very similar stories.
I know.
And
her and I clicked very quickly, so it was awesome.
Well, you clicked with BNI pretty quickly. I mean, you didn't seem to have any reservations about developing relationships right away.
Maybe because I was in BNI back in Oregon.
Well,
so maybe that's why. But I don't know. I just like people.
I think it's your personality more than just BNI. I think you just
thank you.
No, really, just think you like to really connect with people. It's just
I do.
very obvious.
It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
and is it easier to connect with people here in Texas than in Oregon?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. And
yeah.
Here's the thing.
Like night and day.
We don't get into issues, politics, current events at BNI meetings at all.
No.
And neither you nor Sarah
unless it's like side.
Yeah, but y'all don't strike me as hard right conservatives at all. But you had very similar stories.
Yeah.
About why you left Oregon.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I
think we, the people, should be able to raise our children a certain way, the way we want to raise our. I don't think the government has a right to, come in and tell me how to raise my kids or how to medically take care of my kids, stuff like that. Plus, the stuff that's going on in Oregon is something fierce with everything becoming legal. I have 3 young children. It was a lot to kind of think about, and not just on the personal side, but the business side as well. Being a small business owner. We always try to encourage other small business owners, but everybody was shutting down because our governor back over in Oregon, in order to stay open, you'd have to pay anywhere from, a couple $1,000s all the way up to like $6,000 just to keep your doors open. So it was insane. And it's like, okay, why would we stay here when all of this other stuff is going on?
You're right.
The business, I mean, yes, we did well, but it's because I planned ahead. I kind of saw the writing on the wall and was like, okay, I know what to prepare for. But so many other local business owners were not, and they were shutting down. And this is everything from restaurants to, I mean, really the only thing you're going to see over there much anymore is going to be like the big corporations, Walmart, Safeways. I know we don't have there's no Safeway here, but there's a Safeway in Albertsons. Those big corporations are pretty much what's left.
Right.
And it's sad,
Well, after I run through my capitalist
Sorry,
adventure,
I kind of
no, that's quite all right. You're the guest. They hear me all the time. You talk about all you want. But I'm going to just run through these kind of quickly because, we want to get to the material here. But these guys are my sponsors. You know a couple of them. Thank you to CrossFit Burleson. Daniel, I hope you're doing well. 317 Southwest Wilshire. So check out the webpage for the memberships and training. Also, thank you to Shandy Stogsdill Real Estate. Now, I'm going to have her on the show pretty soon. I mean, she's busy with graduating seniors, but she knows about the real estate, and it's craziness. Both Daniel and Shandy are original sponsors and former students.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
We've been doing the show since September of 19, and they've been there since the beginning. Wow. And so also another old friend of mine, Rex Russell. We graduated college together. He's a Russell Wealth Group. Hit myfinancialbox.com, hit the link and get to know him. He'll come out and visit with you. Talk about your retirement, your 401k, all of what you want to talk about. Also, thank you to, these people, Southern Gem, Gala. My wife's going to be working for Gala.
No way.
Yeah.
I know. I just gave her some jewelry.
Well, Southern Gem on the top of the Windmiller building, and she's doing pretty well. I mean, and it's a good thing because she gives good service and good value. She has great inventory. Also, thank you to, here's another friend of ours, Michelle Humphrey over at Hotworks.
Oh, yeah.
With the infrared workouts. There's about a dozen different types of workouts, and it's a secure environment. I went to visit her about 3 weeks ago to do a little sponsor care, if you want to call it that. And a very nice facility, and it's secure. You have to have a code and all this, and so it's not like
I love
just
it.
bums walking in. And we're going to run all the way through these guys, right, Taylor? Yeah, okay.
That'll work.
Yeah, good. Our Place Restaurant, you know this place.
Yeah.
That's where we met for a
Yep.
one-to-one.
Yep.
And Otto is a great
Good
host.
food.
I was there yesterday with April Robbins.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was for our one-to-ones. And that's where I take them for one-to-ones because it's right across the
It's
street.
right there.
Yeah, and it's good food. So thank you, Otto. Thank you to Chris Notaboon at the Cigar and Culture Club over at Wild Cigar. Do you smoke cigars, do you?
No.
Is anybody in your family?
I think my father-in-law might. I've never actually seen him, but
Well,
I definitely wanted to go check them out.
You should.
They were on my list.
You need to. It's a nice place to get yourself a cigar, get a drink. It's a quiet place. It's not a lot of hectic stuff going on. It's not like a lot of shouting and kids in it and stuff like that. So it's a good place. And if
It's a nice adult
yes,
area.
and then get yourself a gift card if you want to give it to your clients.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about gift cards. We do a lot of gift cards, so
yeah, that's a good place to do it.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna go check that out.
He'll be here on the show next Thursday. I'm going to talk about running a business during times of inflation. I'll be asking you those questions too. Also, Antonio Basallo, Proactive Payment Solutions, point of sales operations, help you streamline your operations. Hit proactivepaymentsolution.com and contact Antonio and help save you some money on how you operate your business. Chris and Antonio are also former students. I've been pretty lucky.
Oh, cool.
Very fortunate. And lastly, Tiffany Griffin, Local Life magazine. It's coming out next week. She'll be here on the show next Tuesday. Local Life is an advertising magazine for this area of the county. It goes Crowley, Joshua, Burleson, 30,000 homes. Something to consider for your business. You really, because she really gets a lot of reach. 110,000 people. You go into a lot of the Burleson businesses, and it's on the coffee table or on the counter.
You need to connect with her.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And it's not very expensive advertising.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that obviously we're new to the area. We're kind of the new kids on the block, right? Finding out because advertisement over there is completely different from here. There are some similarities, obviously, but. Yeah, I definitely would love to connect with them.
Well, I'll give you her phone number after the show, but she does a good job, and people really use this magazine. I've had people call me. I advertise in it, and I advertise for her, so we kind of help each other out. And I get people that'll call me based on that advertisement, ask about the show and stuff like that. So it does get response.
That's awesome.
All right, we do have some nonprofits we're going to show at the very end, but we're going to move along here now. How long are you a native Oregonian?
Well, technically, I was born in California.
All right. Okay. Well,
we moved to Oregon when I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Okay. Well,
so I've pretty much lived there my whole life.
Right. You were an Oregonian by basically by upper.
I wasn't born there, but I was pretty much raised almost my whole childhood plus adulthood.
Well, does Texas, California, Oregon, Washington, it's all part of that part of the country. It's over there. But, so you go to school there and all this other stuff. And you've probably seen how Oregon has changed because I used to, when I was a kid, Oregon is known as a fairly conservative state.
Oh, yeah. It hasn't been like that for a long time.
Well, even California was a Republican state when I was in high school and college. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't known to be hard right or anything, and neither was Oregon, but it was certainly not like it is now.
It's not.
We had Sarah Pierce from American Residential Inspections, our friend from BNI, on Tuesday, and she had the same story you're about to tell us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. I mean, I remember when I went to school versus how it is now, and you kind of look back and you go, wow, it's changed so dramatically that, I mean, as a parent, you always want what's best for your kids. You want to be able to have them to have an education and I don't know. I see it completely different, and maybe it is because I'm a parent, but I look back when I was in school and it's nothing like it is now. Most of the schools are shut down. The ones that are open are only half days and I've noticed a huge shift in my kids because of all the online. They give no help. There's no a place that you can go to get advice on how to help your kids with the online. There's nothing. It's
and you have 3 small children, right?
I have 3. Yeah.
Right. You also mentioned about the cultural changes that concerned you as a mother.
Oh yeah. I mean, all drugs are legal. Prostitution's legal.
That's not good.
2 of my kids are girls. My eldest is 15. He's a boy, and peer pressure at that age is already hard enough. So let's just throw in all this other crap. And last time I checked, drugs are bad. Hello?
Yes.
Like, I remember Gruff the dog, you know,
Right.
drugs are bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that anymore. You don't see Star. You don't see any of those programs anymore.
Star. I guess that's your version of Dare.
Yeah, Dare. It's
Yeah,
Star. It was called
yeah,
Star, and then they changed it to Dare. But
Right, yeah.
back when I was a kid, it was Star.
Right.
And it's just insane. They don't come to the schools. There's, I mean, nothing. And I'm talking even before COVID. And it's just progressively gotten worse. And unfortunately, the governor over there, in my opinion,
No, your opinion is valid.
right? In my opinion, I think all she's worried about is lying in her pockets. And it's just sad because our kids need that education and they're not getting it.
From my perspective, it seems like we get most of our Oregon news from Portland and all that business within Antifa and the riots and all this other stuff and the destruction of property and how you're from Grants Pass, right?
Yeah, so we're from Grants Pass. It's kind of a smaller town.
Right.
It's about 4 hours from Portland.
Right.
So 4 hours there, 4 hours back. So but the problem is Portland controls the whole Southern Oregon area. So because they make the decisions, we're stuck with their bad choices, in my opinion. And it's like, we're over here going, no. Almost everybody I know that's in Grants Pass that is either A, still there, or B, has left, like we did, they are kind of stuck in this like rut because they don't know what to do. A lot of them cannot afford to move. You know, they have so much invested in their property and they own that property or it's an investment or whatever. And so they can't get out. They're stuck. And Corey and I, we've tried really, really hard to actually be able to like help people that we know that are stuck. I mean, there's only so much we can do.
Right.
But we do what we can to try and help them, you know.
It's what's interesting is that, a lot of people think a lot of people moving from Oregon and from California and from Washington are going to turn the politics of the state different. Well, you came here because the politics of the state is different, and so that's why I don't really get that worked up when I hear about all these transplants coming from the West Coast because they're coming because of the reasons you're talking about.
Yep. We want to get away from that. We want to be in an area that aligns with our integrity, what we believe, and that's why we landed on Texas.
Is that you chose Texas purposely then?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we looked at a lot of different states, a lot of different options, both for our business and for us personally as a family. And that's why we landed where we did.
What
here in
other
Texas.
states did you consider?
I think my husband looked at, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this.
Okay, I won't quote you.
But I think it was Winona or something. I'm not sure what state that was. At one point we did look at Idaho, but it's getting just as bad over there.
Well,
So
I hear there's a lot of transplants in Boise.
Yeah.
Boise's becoming like Austin.
Yep, exactly. And so that was I think the first one that we looked at was actually moving to Idaho because he's got family over there. But then we're like, yeah, no, why move there and then have to move again?
Right.
So we wanted to find a place where we could build and stay forever, lifetime.
And you're not the only business that's done that. We're getting tons of businesses.
Yeah.
Of course, Taylor can tell you of a business that moved from California to Texas. Do you know of one, Taylor?
Oh, what's it called? Tesla.
Tesla. He's Elon Musk's unacknowledged son.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that's his Tesla out there. He's a big Tesla fan.
I love Teslas. I've always wanted one.
He's just giddy about the Twitter buy from Elon. So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah. Well, he tells me they're good cars, but anyway, but it's interesting because it wasn't like you had connections here already. You didn't have like family. You didn't have like.
I had nobody. We have nobody.
So you did like an analytical search for Texas almost, and landed on. And see, I've spent almost my entire life here.
Yeah.
I'm the only person in my family on either side from 4 generations that was born outside of Texas or Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
Well, I was born in Fort Bragg.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah. Okay.
So
that's right.
So I was born in an Army base, but the point is that people are moving here because they talk about the freedoms that seem to be being taken away from you in these Western states.
Well, Oregon, they're trying to take away your right to bear arms. And I mean, I grew up hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, that's on the Constitution. So you're not taking that bad boy from me.
Yeah, Constitution. What is that? I don't know. Apparently they don't either. But.
Apparently not.
Well, and also
They think they can make up their own rules.
as far as the people, how the people of Texas treated you?
Oh, amazing. Like, seriously, it's been amazing. I'm still getting used to the driving.
Yes.
Just because y'all drive a little intense for me sometimes.
Yes. Well, we got places to go.
Exactly. And hey, I get it. I'm just still getting used to that portion. But other than that, I mean, complete strangers are super sweet, nice, willing to help. I was in a car accident not too long ago, right?
Right. I remember that story. Yeah.
I had I think there was probably 15, 20 people that pulled over to help us. If that had happened in Oregon, they all would have just kept passing me by, not giving two hoots.
Well, Sarah had the similar story. She and her husband, or ex-husband now, I suppose, went on a tour of the South, and they counted it all the time. In Texas, I mean, there's a few cranks around here, but most Texans I know are pretty friendly people. We're very, they just...
I mean, you're going to run into some cranky people no matter where you go.
It's a pretty good vibe.
Exactly. I feel when we first got here, because we came and we visited back in January, we flew over just to kind of check Texas out, right? Because I had told my husband, I was like, I don't know anything about Texas other than what we're reading. I want to go and check it out. And so we did. And we were here for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I loved it. And then when we finally officially got here, I don't know, I felt like I could breathe. I felt like I was home. Like I was supposed to be here the entire time, like my whole life. That's the only way I know how to explain it. And I don't know, like his family ended up following us over here. So now we've got, family and stuff like that.
The whole Beagley compound over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's Gilmer, right?
So we live right outside of Tyler, which is in Gilmer.
Right.
And it's a small little town, but I love it. It's been great.
But your business goes all over the state.
Oh, yeah. So we're licensed throughout all of Texas. So Waco, Odessa, pretty much everywhere in between.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your business because Taylor, did you get the logo?
It's on the screen.
Yeah, it's right there. Inchi Party. That's our black and white one.
Oh, okay. There it is. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't looking.
I know. I saw it when it popped up. I was like, oh, look, she's so pretty.
Well, anyway, so you don't just do East Texas. I know you were talking about you did some businesses out in West Texas, Odessa, right?
Yeah, Odessa, Waco, Fort Worth area. We did a Walmart out, and then, Austin, San Antonio. We did a Home Depot not too long ago in Waco. And then over in the Tyler area. So kind of all over.
Well, when you do these big outfits like Home Depot or Walmart, that's not a one-day job. You take a big caravan out there, or you actually have to find a place to stay?
So typically what we do it's kind of like a game plan. Like we know Walmart's a little tricky because they kind of expect you to start right now and they don't give you much notice.
That figures.
But we kind of plan ahead. Like we kind of know the month that it's going to be in. So we kind of arrange for that. So we either do like an Airbnb or hotels, stuff like that. Just because we do have a co-ed crew. So we have men and women on our crew. And so we want to be respectful of, the guys and the gals on our crew so that everybody's got their privacy essentially. When we did the Home Depot, the Walmart, we ended up doing the hotels.
Well, but from a listener's point of view, it sounds like that's what you do is all commercial and large commercial, but you do also do private residential.
Oh, yeah. We do all residential, interior, exterior for your home, your shop,
Well, when you made your presentation at BNI about 2 weeks ago, a lot of people were pleasantly surprised about the size of the operation.
Yeah.
Because, because you've been talking to us about residential much, and we think, okay, that's great. But then you showed us Walmarts that you've done and Home Depots that you've done and all these others. But
churches and everything.
Yeah, right.
Restaurants,
But so you do all these big jobs that you can do small ones. We've talked about, once get some money together. Hear that, sponsors? Anyway, no, I'm kidding.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. No, potential sponsors. No, you're going to hopefully do our house one day. It's on the plans. Yeah, and so it's not like that you're limited to some large outfits. I'm sure the jobs require different equipment and whatever else.
Right. Like we have lifts and stuff like that. So like Walmarts and Home Depots and even small like convenience stores, like a stop and go type, or a gas station. Those require lifts because you do have to get really high up and it's just safer. So because we came from Oregon, there was a lot of regulations that was put onto any contractor, including painters.
Right.
So that means a lot of, continuing education. You have to pass classes in order to even become a contractor, plumber, painter, doesn't matter. So, the regulations with OSHA, there are regulations to be a contractor in general. We actually brought that all over with us. So it allows us to give our client, whether it's commercial or residential, they know that they're safe, that someone's not just going to put and I saw it the other day, someone had put a ladder on a 5-gallon paint bucket and climbed it and then put another ladder on top of that ladder.
That's not good.
No. And a lot of times, especially with homeowners, you bring someone onto your property and they're not, licensed. They're not insured. Guess who they can go after? They can go after the homeowner and their insurance. With us, they're covered. Not only that, they get our warranty, which we include.
So in other words, if one of your guys came on my property and had an accident, you're covered with that already. And I'm not going to be personally liable.
Nope.
That's a good thing to know. That's a very good thing to know. I was thinking when you're talking about, all the stuff, you have the equipment for the big time jobs. You had to lug all that from Oregon?
Oh, yeah. Whew. We're still lugging more stuff.
It really is. I just put
Corey's in Oregon right now. He's on his way back.
Okay, with more stuff.
With more stuff, more scaffolding.
You must have quite the compound.
Oh, boy.
You've got a whole little world out there, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
So when you... let me rephrase the question. It's not just painting that we're talking about, though. We're talking about doing ceiling work. Do you do floor work as well?
So like we do epoxy flooring, absolutely.
But not like wood flooring.
We've sealed wood flooring for clients. It's kind of like a clear sealer.
Right.
They really like the wood look, but they want to have that durability that the epoxy would give them. It still allows for that cushion that like cement or concrete doesn't allow for. So you still have that wood effect, but now it's sealed and covered. It's also easier to clean. I mean, we're talking stains that are real, real bad that would actually ruin the, ruin the wood itself. This takes that all away.
Yeah, it does, huh?
So lead, we're licensed and certified in lead. We deal with popcorn ceilings.
What about asbestos? You were talking about that yesterday.
Yep. So a lot of the popcorn ceilings and there are asbestos siding that is still out there today, has asbestos in it. And so we are licensed just like the lead. You have to have special certifications to deal with that stuff and to dispose of it properly. And so we're able to do that for clients.
Well, okay, we have popcorn ceilings, which my wife hates. We built our house in 1991. Would it have asbestos in it?
It could.
Because I thought they banned asbestos many, many years ago.
They did. A lot of what happened back in the day, and the cool thing is my father-in-law was actually an actual contractor way back in the day. So we kind of almost have personal hand experience with it. Back then, when they banned lead and asbestos and all those things, what they did was these painters and contractors had all this lead and all this chemical left over. The government didn't give them anything to dispose of it, but they paid for it. So what they would do is they would mix it with the new.
Okay.
And that's a lot of times how it happened. There's no way to know. I don't think it does for your house, but I can't say 100,000% that it doesn't at the same time just because of that.
Well, some of us old timers from Burleson High School, when we were in the old building,
oh gosh,
people know what I'm talking about. It's now the early college prep campus.
Okay.
One of the buildings they wanted to tear down, but they never could because of the asbestos. And every year we'd have to have a faculty meeting and talk about, yes, there's asbestos in this building.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the government required it. And we joke about it, called the asbestos meeting and that kind of stuff. But the paints and all this other stuff have been, older homes still have lead paint and all this other stuff. And so when you go to an older home, what do you do with all that asbestos and lead?
So you have to take it to a special, sorry if I could talk, special facility. You can't just throw it in the trash.
Well, that's what I thought.
You can't. I I would never do that. I care about our environment, and that is so bad on so many levels. It has to be disposed of as at a hazard waste disposable facility. Once that's done, then you're good to go, and they dispose of it for you.
When you got here to Texas, though, there was some licensing going on. You're talking about the more freedom to do business, but Texas requires licenses.
Oh, yeah.
About everything.
Oh, yeah, they do. Absolutely. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant on the contractor side, there is not as much, but it also depends on what field. Like plumbers and pest control companies, they're heavily regulated more so than, I think, more so than contractors.
Do you have relationships with like plumbers and electricians?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we're always looking to connect with,
I know one right now.
Oh, awesome.
He's one of my sponsors, actually. Antonio, I mentioned him with Proactive Payment.
Oh, yeah,
Solutions.
yeah.
He's a certified electrician, so...
I'm always looking for electricians, plumbers, contractors, you name it, realtors,
I'll give you
property
his number after the
managers.
show too.
Okay, cool. I'd love that.
He's an interesting story. Y'all probably have a lot to talk about.
Oh, cool.
Because he was on the show about earlier in this month, and we had a story about his immigration process here.
Okay.
And it's really interesting.
That's awesome.
But,
yeah, I would love that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, hope it works for you. Now, how do you break into the market here? I mean, it's coming in from the outside. There's already some established companies for this.
Yep.
How do you? What process are you doing besides B&I to break into the system?
A lot of it is, me hitting the pavement. I mean, I will literally go park my car and I will go walk around a neighborhood or, building, office buildings. And I will go in and introduce myself. I am one of the owners, and I will tell them that, look, I'm one of the owners. We're newer to the area, and we would love an opportunity, a chance to meet with you or sit down with you and give you, tell you what we do and how we could maybe benefit each other. So
you go to an area of like Fort Worth or something like that and just park the car and go.
Yep.
That must be tough.
I carry my heels and I walk in my flats. And when I'm about to walk up to a place, I switch my shoes out, look all professional, and bing, bang, boom.
Yeah. And you get pretty good reception, I hope.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it depends on the area too, whether it's residential, commercial. Sometimes homeowners aren't as...
Or they don't want to be bothered, I guess.
Exactly. And I don't want to bother them. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put our door hanger just on their door. I don't want to disrupt them, whether it's, a home office or anything like that. I try to be very respectful of that. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, one thing we're getting accustomed to is every time we have a bad storm in here, the next day the roofers come knocking. And, and I don't begrudge anybody that's trying to make a business. I already have a roofer. But I don't get all bent out of shape because it's just some fella trying to
make a living.
Yeah. And there's no point in being rude to him. But we're used to that, I guess.
Yeah.
But businesses, I
don't know. Every like residential person that I've spoken to that I've went and knocked on their door, complete stranger, they all were real nice, So it was. I mean, it's been pretty if I could talk.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm glad that they treat you well because. Yeah. That's why he came out here.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, the weather's a little different. Have you been to a Texas summer yet?
No, but my husband has.
Okay, well, last summer...
He's told me.
Well, a lot of the out-of-towners, so to speak, were, boy, it's so hot. And I'm like, this was one of the mildest summers we ever had.
Yeah.
And so when we have a real Texas summer for the out-of-staters, it's a beating.
I had my first tornado.
Mm-hmm. Of course, in
Scared the bejeebers out of me.
Yeah, you get a lot of rain, though, right?
Oh, yeah. So I'm used to the rain. I'm used to the humidity. That doesn't bother me, and I prefer the warm versus the cold. So,
well, where you live out in East Texas, you're going to get more rain than we do out here.
Yeah,
but we don't get a lot. We don't get Oregon's levels of rain.
Or snow.
No, or snow. But we did have that massive freeze a year ago, February, which is going to go down in Texas history as
the worst winter ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I have talked to a lot of people that come from out of state, and there's certain aspects of what they miss about home, mostly family or something, but not a one of them seemed to have regretted moving out here.
Nope.
And the business climate is a lot better here.
Yeah.
And
a lot more, perspectives. Mm-hmm. I mean, Texas is always growing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I came from a much smaller state on top of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's been great. I don't regret it at all. I mean, yeah, I miss some friends and whatnot, but we talk, we FaceTime, with our technology nowadays, it makes it pretty easy.
Yeah.
But not one regret.
Yeah.
Like I said, if anything, I felt like I should have been here a long time ago.
What about the schools? How have they done for you?
The schools have been pretty good. I mean, the kids have adapted pretty well. My youngest did take it pretty hard just because she's like her mama. She's a social butterfly, and
Left friends behind.
lots of friends behind, and didn't understand why we had to move and stuff like that. We just kind of had to sit down with the kids and say, look, we're doing this for our family because we feel like this is the best thing for our family.
Well, a lot of people, have all these issues with schools. And then I say, well, from what I've read, Texas has fewer issues with schools.
Way less.
We may have our issues, but, we're talking about the Oregon schools and all the indoctrination practically they're going through and with state sanction. Whereas here, you try to indoctrinate kids one way or the other, you're going to hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why I've talked about this many times on the show about some of this critical race theory and things like that on the show. And it's like, it really, I think it's not going to be an issue in Texas because
I don't see that.
No, it's not an issue because, I think we do teach our kids in a very appropriate way about all these issues. Both,
absolutely.
Both perspectives, et cetera. But I hear from others is there's only one perspective and it's going to be given to you and you better teach it that way or else the teacher's going to be in a real problem.
Yeah, it's like that a lot in Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, it's real bad. And it's like, if you have a different opinion from what we're telling you, we'll expel you.
Well, here's
it's bad.
Being a student as well.
Oh, yeah. Even a student, they will penalize a child for what a parent has said or done or the parent's beliefs it's bad.
My my experience in teaching in Burleson was, when I taught history all those years, and I'm teaching some things that are, can be sensitive, racial issues and whatnot. 99.9% I got support from the parents about, regardless of what their perspective was or whatnot, because it was they respected the teachers.
I was just gonna say they respected that where you were coming from as a teacher, and I gotta say the teachers here, they actually give a crap about the kids. Oregon, they don't care.
Well,
it's sad, but that's been my experience anyways.
Well, I've heard that before too.
Yeah.
That particularly in not just in Oregon, but from Midwest, Illinois and all this. That if you live anywhere near a large urban area, basically you're just a cog in the machine kind of thing.
Yep.
But here, do I feel supported? Did I feel supported by the educational process? For the most part, yes.
See, that's good.
There was episodes that maybe you could bring up here or there where it didn't work out, but most of the time, yes. And
they were few and far between. Versus,
and when I think back on my teaching career, that's what I think of. Is I don't think of the negative stuff. I think about all those people that made it possible to do what I did.
Yeah, exactly. The positive outlook.
Yeah, I was very fortunate with the type of students I taught, and that the parents and the facility I taught in was very nice. So
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and so anyway, I'm talking too much about myself. As far as you're concerned, what do you want to see happen with your company? Do you think you might move closer to DFW, or do you like where you're at?
I mean, I love our home and I love our property, but I'll never say never. So, I mean, for our company, what I see for us is I want to see Beagley's paint. I always say this. I want to see Beagley's painting up in lights. I know that sounds corny and cheesy.
No. I have the same feeling about the podcast. I want to push it out there,
because our goal, like every project that we do, whether it's a small bathroom or a big remodel or whatever the case may be, we want to make sure that our client is taken care of. Like that's our goal. That's why we offer our included warranties. We back what we do. We do what we do with integrity and honor. And, essentially I would love for us to have a location here in the DFW area, Burleson, everywhere, essentially.
Are you thinking about that, like having not franchises, not the word, but branches?
Branches, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if I'd ever do the whole franchise thing. Not that I'm against it. It's just not what I see for our company.
Well, it's a family business.
Yeah, and I want to keep it to its roots.
Well, if I would, for me personally, I would put something here, like a warehouse for.
That's what we're looking at doing.
Good.
Yeah.
Because this area of the county an area of the
It's been
DFW area
great.
is blowing up. And
Yeah.
so
Holy moly, has it been blowing up?
and it's good for business, and you're going to get a lot of business here.
And that's the idea.
Yeah. So we're coming close on time here.
Okay.
I'm going to run through some nonprofit ads because this is part of the Mr. Allard's Neighborhood deal. I one of the best things.
Yeah.
Well, my sponsors make these possible, and I always thank them because of them, I'm able to put this out there and make it. I get the credit, but
that's awesome.
They deserve it. Go ahead and run if you would, Taylor.
Just any of them?
Just run them, all of them. Spring Fling. Okay, we have this coming up. Now, this is from the Seventh-day Adventist Church here in Crowley. And they're having, the Spring Fling, they're having a couple of weeks from Sunday on May 15th is like a job fair kind of thing. It's designed, they'll have fun stuff going on. They're going to have horse rides and a bounce house and all this other stuff. But it's meant to be just a church community event. And there's going to be a lot of things out there for them. So it's a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 6 here on May 15th in 3200 FM 1187, which is the main drag here in Crowley. So you'll be able to see it. It's a Seventh-day Adventist church there, and have a big event there. So bring the kids, but they're doing. It's not just fun. They're doing it for community service as well. There's other things we can provide.
I think that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. And also we have this one, the second annual Spartan Regiment. You know what the Spartan Regiment is? You ever heard of it? It's a Centennial High School band, and they're statewide known, nationally known.
No,
actually,
I feel horrible that I don't know.
Well,
I don't.
come on, who would know?
I'm still new.
No. This is a Burleson thing. My wife teaches at this school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and anyway, it's second annual Spartan Regiment Classic. It's on May 21st, and it's to help to raise money for some of the events that the Spartan Regiment does, and they go all over the country performing. So they're, like I said, they're very well known. So it's a golf classic. So sign up. $100 per person, $400 per group. It's going to be at the Southern Oaks. Also, thank you to our friends over at ASD.
Oh.
You know this group?
We donated for their auction.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, that's very kind of it. Bianca is one of our friends from BNI. You donated, huh? Well, that's good for you. Bless your heart.
Yeah. So we put something up for their auction. They get a whole home painted to auction, and then we donated as well.
You donated a home painting? Mm-hmm. Holy Toledo, that's not a cheap thing.
No, but it's for a good cause.
It certainly is. That's a great offer. I mean, that's going to get taken. Someone's going to take you up on that deal.
Hey.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for doing that. But it's tomorrow night. It's at the Burleson Event Center, which us old timers remember. It used to be called Some Joint South of Town, and that was its name.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, someplace south of town, something like that. And somebody bought it and fixed up a little bit. So it's right outside of Burleson 935. So the 80s Prom for Center for ASD, the Autistic Center. So you'll be hoping you make that. And then one more, I believe. Oh, yes. Next Step Women's Center, Walk for Life is this Saturday.
Oh, cool.
What the Next Step Women's Center is a center that helps women with pregnancies. And
wow.
And also the fathers, and it isn't just for the mothers. The fathers come in, they get lessons, they get
like parenting classes type thing. Oh, that's amazing.
And you can get sonograms, you can get diapers and clothing and formula, things like that. Get you set up. Occasionally they have like bassinets or strollers. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I've been part of this push for them for many, many years. It's a wonderful outfit. I've had them on show several times.
That's super cool.
But if you all want to get involved in that, or if you want to sponsor somebody, go into the Next Step Women's Heroes page, and you can
I'm gonna have to look up.
Somebody.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, they do great work.
Yeah,
and they provide alternatives for young women that are considering, what to do next when they have a pregnancy. And it's not just young women. I had them on about 2 weeks ago, and they showed me their data, and I was surprised just how many of their clients are in their 30s.
So, wow.
Yeah, so we're not talking about teenage girls.
Yeah,
in trouble.
well, I kind of envisioned younger.
Yeah, that's what I did, but it's really all the way up to the childbearing age.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I would say probably about a third of theirs are 30 and older.
Yeah, because I mean,
well, sometimes
that's amazing.
Well, sometimes it isn't so much because it's a pregnancy that they don't want. Sometimes it's financially it's a situation, and they can go there and get financial.
That's amazing.
The diapers and clothes, like I mentioned before. So it's not always what to do about the pregnancy.
It's also
the
help with the financial end as well. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is, and they're expanding. There's one more. I believe that this is a brand new one for me. This is the Caring Physicians Charity Network. We have for the first time in Burleson, we're going to have a free clinic. I mentioned this yesterday in a meeting.
Yeah, this is them. Okay.
Yeah, this is the Charity Physicians Charity Network. It's sponsored by both Pathway and First Baptist, and it's on the corner of the big parking lot at First Baptist. It used to be what First Baptist called the Promises Building. I'm a member of First Baptist, so I'll pretend that, I'll try not to just assume everybody else is, but it's on the northeast corner, and it's just opened up Monday, and we're working out a time for them to be on the show. I went by there Tuesday.
That's amazing.
To talk to them about it, and they can't wait, but it's a matter of scheduling right now. But it's 3 examination rooms, and they have all sorts of things, lab work and things of that nature. So
that's amazing.
And so it's
good to know.
Well, it isn't so much like a walk-in clinic. They do want you to make appointments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because the doctor that you might need may not be there that day.
Right.
But it is a place for people that have either no insurance or limited income or whatnot could get some medical treatment.
That's amazing, though.
It is. It's been something we've been needing for a long time.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So they're going to be on the rotation pretty regularly because I know several of the people that work it.
Yeah, we've been trying to find good doctors because I help take care of my grandmother also on top of the kids. And so finding good doctors for her is...
the biggest problem finding a doctor isn't finding a good one, it's finding one that's available because they're
it's
overbooked.
they're not accepting new patients anymore. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Because of the growth of this town. I mean, like the clinic I go to, it's a 5-doctor group. They're not taking new patients.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't have the staff for it.
Yep.
But anyway, now we're coming close. Why don't you tell us everything you want us to know about yourself, family, Beagley's painting?
So Corey and I went to high school together. Kind of lost connection after I graduated. He's older than I am. Was friends with his brother. Kind of how I knew the family back then. We ended up getting set up on a blind date, not realizing who each other were, and that's kind of how we reconnected.
Well, how about just about Beagley painting? What would you tell a potential customer?
We have our motto, which, it's done once, done right. We always make sure it's done once, done right the first time. We offer anywhere from a 5-year to a 15-year warranty with all of our projects for residential and commercial. Like I said, we do epoxy. We deal pretty heavily with that, lead, and of course, popcorn ceilings, asbestos. Right. We deal with all that. You get an included color consultation by a licensed interior designer as well.
Okay, the number they can reach you at, is this the number you want, or do you want the business number?
Yeah, no, that's our business number.
This is the business number, okay.
Yeah.
903-747-2619, 903-747-2619, or beagleypainting@gmail.com.
And we're on all social media, too.
Well, it's Beagley's Painting.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an S in there. beagley'spainting@gmail.com. Yes,
yep.
And I've seen your social advertising. Have you talked to Dee Dee yet about Thrive?
Oh yeah, so we have Thrive, and then we do TikTok, Google, of course,
right.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're pretty much on every social platform.
Okay, beagley'spainting@gmail.com, 903-747-2619. Give them a call. They're going to do a good job. Really?
And we're offering up to 20% off for book in advance right now.
Okay.
So.
Good for you. Well, thank you for coming. I know you had a
hard
time getting here.
Thank you for having me. No, I'm sorry.
The traffic,
thank you for having me.
Traffic and the trains and whatnot, they play havoc with one schedule, that's for sure.
They can. I'm still getting used to that, so planning accordingly.
Yeah, all right. Well, okay, gang, on Monday, going to have the mayor on, talk about a bond issue again. We've talked about that before, so the mayor will be on. Tuesday, it's going to have Tiffany Griffin and with Local Life, and on Thursday, going to Chris Notaboom talking about running a business in this economic situation. So we'll see you next Monday.